So the time is almost here for me to put down my seed on my renovation project, but before that we need to prepare some things, make sure we're completely ready for that process and what's going to happen afterwards as well. So today let's talk about all the things you need to prepare for if you're either doing this process or you want to do it in the future. That's coming right up. So it's pretty obvious, but the first thing we're going to need in this renovation project is seed. And I've mentioned this in a previous video where I kind of explained what I'm going to be doing, but in case you missed that part, what I'm doing on my yard is I'm going for a really low cut look on this front area. Now the existing grass that I had there wasn't looking too bad, but I had some issues this year with some fungus problems, and there's some fescue mixed into it, which doesn't do very well on low cuts. So I decided that this would be a good test spot to kind of get rid of everything that's there and plant elite types of grass there that can handle this low cut. We're designed for it, and that way I know that I just won't have problems with that low cut in the future. So you might be doing something similar. You might be just wanting to reseed your lawn and cut it taller, do a normal kind of thing with your yard, and that's perfectly fine as well. But when it comes to this renovation process, you're going to want to start there. Think about what seed you want to use. Do a little bit of research on what you're willing to spend on it, because a lot of times seed can be expensive when you get into the high-end stuff. However, if you're just wanting to do this once and you want to have a really nice yard, then going with a really quality seed to begin with is a really good idea. Now, a couple years ago I started overseeding my front yard, and I didn't do a full renovation, but I did an overseeding process, and I have a full playlist on that if you want to check that out. If you're looking to kind of thicken up your yard, kind of just get it a little bit better if you have a thin area, that's going to help a lot. So the first time that I ever overseeded my front yard, I was using a Pennington thing that I just got from Home Depot, some kind of store like that. I had pretty good results, but I will say the color of the ryegrass that I used wasn't the greatest green color, and ryegrass can kind of have that problem when you're not dealing with elite varieties. So I decided the next year I was going to look for something a little bit better, and I found seedsuperstore.com. I did a little more research on the ryegrass that they were using, and that was some of the best stuff that you can find anywhere, so I decided to splurge on it. It was a little bit expensive to begin with, but I was willing to try it out, and I'm glad that I did. So after that, I noticed a big difference in the color of my yard. It was much greener, also had a much thicker look to it, and overall I was very happy with those results. And that's kind of what you were seeing early on this spring. If you saw me cutting with my Swardman mower early this spring, that's the Seed Superstore ryegrass mix kind of mixed in, and so now that yard is really heavy on ryegrass, but the color is definitely there and it looks fantastic. It stripes really well as well. So I'm not telling you need to go with ryegrass in any way. I'm just telling you that if you're looking for quality seed, I would recommend Seed Superstore. Now, I talked to Drew, who runs Seed Superstore, earlier this spring, and I kind of told him about my renovation plans coming up this fall, and he was gracious enough to send me a mixture of seed to do this renovation. So I'm not getting paid to tell you to use them in any way, but I did get the seed for free for this renovation project, and we'll see how it turns out. He created kind of a special mixture for me of 3 types of elite bluegrass, and then the 3 types of elite ryegrass that I'm familiar with. So that's kind of what I'm going with for my personal seed. Now, what are your options if you're wanting to do some other things? Like I said, I've used Pennington before, had pretty good luck with that. I've used Scott's before. The only thing that I would say about Scott's is that a lot of times their coating mixture, if you look at the back of the bag, will say that it's 50% seed and 50% coating. So you're paying for a lot of that coating there. I'm not sure whether it's personally worth it or not. So that's just for you to decide, but as far as Scott's goes, I have used that as well. I've had fine luck with it. So this year also, a lot of people have been recommending the Jonathan Green brand. I'll have all this stuff in the description. I'm gonna have a huge list of stuff in the description as far as everything we're talking about today, and those are all product links that go mainly to Amazon and a few different things. So full disclosure on those, I do get a little bit of a commission if you buy from there. So just letting you know that, but thank you so much if you do purchase from there. So then one other place for seed that I have used is a Site One. And Site One used to be called John Deere Landscapes. It's kind of like a supplier to a lot of commercial lawn care companies, but you can also go in as a homeowner and get their products. So if you're looking for some good quality seed, you can also do a search for Site One in your area. They usually have some good stuff as well, and I have used that in my backyard when I was filling in some of those dead spots that I killed a couple years ago. Then when it comes to seed as well, how much do you need? Well, you need to know the square footage of how much area you're going to need to cover, so you need to measure your yard out if you have not done so already. Get all those measurements, write them down, And that's also a good thing to have, just because anytime you get into lawn care in the future, you're going to need to know how much area you need to cover with a specific product. So get that done. Depending on the area that you're going to need to cover, look at those seeding recommendations either for overseeding or for a new lawn on the back of the bag. They're normally going to be on there for both of those scenarios to kind of tell you how much to put down. So for my specific area, I have about 1,000 square feet that I'm going to be seeding, obviously a complete renovation. Drew has recommended to me to seed that at 5 pounds per 1,000 square feet. So I'll go right around there, maybe just slightly heavier, because I'm just a little bit over the 1,000 mark there as far as square footage. So that's my plan, and how I'm going to do that I will explain when I'm doing my actual seeding. Next up is watering, and if you've watched any of my videos in the past, then you probably know I've rigged up a little bit of a DIY above ground sprinkler system because I do not currently have in-ground sprinklers. So if you have an in-ground system, you're good to go on this renovation. It's going to be much easier for you. But if you're in my situation, then I've had to come up with some solutions over the years because I just didn't have a system at this point. Well, if you're interested more in my DIY above ground system, I'll have a link in the description that has a video that explains it more, all the parts that you need to build it. So check that out if you're interested in that. I also have a sprinkler video that I completed a couple months ago about the best types of sprinklers for your yard. It kind of covers the various types, what I like about them, what I don't like about them. So you can check that out as well. There's a couple links in the description though to some specific sprinklers that I use aside from that DIY system. So if you're wanting to look at something else, there's an impact that I recommend in the description below, and also kind of an oscillating type sprinkler if you're looking for that. Now the oscillating type would probably be better for seeding. It's just a little bit hard to get it in specific areas if you have a weird shaped lawn or it's not completely square or rectangular. So that's where my DIY system came in. I'm kind of able to set it up and forget about it. I don't need to move sprinklers around. So if you're looking for more info on watering, I would say check out all those links. I also have a link in the description to just various lawn sprinklers, so you can kind of go through a whole list of them, see what the reviews are on Amazon, see what you might want to use. Next topic we're going to talk about is starter fertilizer. So when you're planting new grass seed, it's a good idea to either put down starter fertilizer right along with the seeding, or if you're doing an overseeding, a lot of times I will wait until I'm thinking the grass is about to come up, depending on germination times. So for ryegrass, you're anywhere around a week or so, so I would wait until maybe the 4-day mark and then put down the starter fertilizer at that point. So why do I do that when overseeding? Well, if you put down that starter fertilizer right away, start watering it every single day to keep the seed from drying out, then the existing grass is also getting all those nutrients. A lot of times the existing grass is going to shoot up. Then it's just a little more difficult for your seed to compete with those things. So I've delayed my starter fertilizers on overseeding areas just until it's about a few days before I think germination is going to happen. That helps a lot to delay that growth on the existing turf, and it's worked really well for me. But now on a full renovation place, you can kind of decide what you want to do. You can probably put down your starter fertilizer right along with the seeding if you would like to. So what are the options? Well, I use Alesco starter fertilizer on many of my projects. That I got at Site One, but they also carry it at Home Depot, and it looks like you can also get it on Amazon, so there's a link in the description for that. There's also just various brands you could get at Home Depot, Lowe's, things like that. I've also used the Scott starter fertilizer in the past with some pretty good luck. So there's a regular version of that, but there's also one that contains weed control that you can use at the time of seeding. We're going to talk about that chemical here in just a second, but those are the options there. Also, one thing that I'm probably planning on trying out is this right here, which is from Simple Lawn Solutions that they sent me. I told them kind of about my renovation project, and this is a growth booster, but really that's just kind of a term to tell you what it's going to do to the lawn. But if we look at the back here, this contains 6% nitrogen, so it's kind of a low amount of nitrogen, but what we're looking for is the phosphorus, which is at 19%. So that's gonna help the new grass roots to actually get established. Another thing that I like about this product is that it contains 3% humic acid and 45% fulvic right mixed in this bottle right when you spray it down. So you're getting some of those humic and fulvic things right there, right along with this. So if you're looking for maybe a liquid solution, you don't have a huge area to cover, you don't wanna get a big bag of starter fertilizer that you might not use all of it, I would check out something like this as well. That's a good option. And then we come to one product that I'm going to try this year that I've never used before, but that is a product called Tenacity. When I mentioned that you can use the Scott starter fertilizer that has the weed control in it, what that is actually the same active ingredient that is in this spray called Tenacity. So that's actually able to be used at the time of seeding. It does not affect the seed or the growth of the seed, but any weeds that do emerge out of the ground, it essentially kills them at that point. So that's a nice little pre-emergent there that you can use to kind of help with weed control. This is kind of an expensive product as a standalone, but the benefits are is that you need very little product to cover a pretty decent area, so you're getting a lot out of this bottle, and it also post-emergent kills a lot of other weeds. I can show you an entire list here of weeds that it kills. Lots of options there to spray some other broadleaf weeds in your yard that you don't have to get other products for. So that's kind of the benefit to me, is that there's just multi-uses with this product. So I decided to kind of fork over the money here, knowing that this bottle is also going to last me a long time for a lot of different options. So check that out in the description as well if you're interested in Tenacity. That Scott's fertilizer that has it mixed in, I've heard some good things about it, but a standalone spray option of this would be a little bit better control than just having it mixed in the fertilizer. Lastly, last year I kind of did a little semi-renovation on just a couple little areas in my front yard where I was trying to level off some dirt around the cement and sidewalks. So at that point I wasn't sure that I was ever going to do a full renovation again. I was just trying to continually overseed, but things have changed a little bit this year. So I had a little bit of experience last year with bare dirt, seeding into that, and kind of what works and what doesn't. So one thing I would also recommend is some kind of covering over your seed once you put it down, and I like to use peat moss. Now what this does is that it prevents the seed from kind of moving around as much, prevents birds from coming in and just eating all of your seed, and it's also going to help with moisture control. So the areas that I didn't have enough peat moss on last year, I noticed that they did not come in as thick and as well as the other areas that were covered sufficiently with peat moss. Now we also don't want to bury the areas in peat moss. I'll explain this more when I do my actual seeding, but a light layer on there to just cover up everything helps retain that moisture, which really helps the seed to grow better. So I would prepare for that as well. If you want to get some kind of peat moss or something to cover, sometimes people use straw, but I just prefer to use a product like peat moss. So that's another thing you want to have on hand before you do your actual seeding. I know that was a ton of information to cover today, and there's a lot of in-depth things with that, so if you have some questions, let me know in the comments. I can try to answer some things further. Tried to get this all out of my brain and out here today, but there's probably a couple little details that I missed, so please let me know if you have questions. Thanks so much for watching this one. We'll see you next time.